What's up, everybody? It's Kelsee Briana J here with a review, swatches, and a comparison of the new Natasha Denona Mini Star Palette versus the original Natasha Denona Star Palette. So here's the packaging for the Mini Star Palette. I ordered this from Sephora and it is a Sephora exclusive. Like the other mini palettes, it is super mini, as you all can see. This retails for $25. There are 5 shades, and unlike the other mini palettes that she launched, the Mini Sunset and Mini Lila, which had new shades, this mini palette had shades taken from its predecessor and shrunk to fit inside this palette. So these are the same shades, or supposed to be the same shades, as what they have in the original Star Palette. So of course I'm going to be comparing them for you guys today. The description on Sephora says that this palette features 5 shades from the existing Natasha Denona Star Palette. These shadows are long lasting with strong color payoff thanks to a high percentage of pure pigments. Extremely buildable and blendable, these shades will not crease and they easily adhere to the eye even without using primer. I have tried all of her palettes. I'm able to quickly tell whether or not a palette is the same formula and same quality as another palette that I've tried from her, just because I have all of them. I've tried all of them. I've been with her since the beginning. Here are the colors in the mini palette, and here's my Star Palette. As you all can see, the Star Palette is much bigger. There are so many different shades in here. This palette is a good selection of the colors from the original Star Palette because you can do a complete eye look with these colors. You really don't have to reach out and get too many more colors. You can do a few different looks with this palette. But I did math to help you guys make a decision to see if this will be a good value for you guys or not. The mini palette retails for $25, which was $25. We spend $25 on pretty much anything these days, an Uber ride, coffee. So it's like we really are not going to think twice about $25 compared to spending $169 on this palette. So this one seems like it's a better value, but let me break it down for you. The original Star Palette is $169, which is like, whoo! So I broke down how much it costs per eyeshadow in this palette. There's 18 shades in this palette. That makes each shade $9.39 each. Knowing that and taking out the 5 shades that Natasha Denona put into the mini palette, if we kept this eyeshadow size, which is 2.5 grams of product in here, that would make that 5-pan palette $46.95. If we're looking at the price per gram of the original palette in the full size pans, they're $18.79 each. Looking at the mini palette, which is $25, with there being 5 mini shadows, that makes each shadow $5 each, and there's not a lot of product in here. There's 0.8 grams of product, which means there's 1.7 grams of product less in each pan than there is in the original palette. And in total, there's 4 grams of product in here, which is equivalent to 2 of the eyeshadows in the original Star Palette. That should give you perspective of how small these shadows are. And if you're looking at the price per gram, this is $31.25, which makes this so much more expensive if you're looking at it on a gram per gram basis. So it's not really a great value if you look at it that way. It's just saving you money on the forefront. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the demonstration. And on one eye, I'm going to use the original Star Palette, and on the other eye, I'm going to be using the mini palette. And you all can see the differing factors of the palette. So I hope that you all enjoy. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section, and stay tuned. I'm going to take my fluffy brush. This is a Tom Ford number 13 brush, and dip into the color Atik. And I'm going to fluff that above my crease as my transition color. So back and forth. Let's dip into a little bit more and build that color up. Definitely, with me dipping back and forth in it twice, it gave me a pretty opaque brown color. So I have another Tom Ford blending brush, and I'm going to take the same color from the original Star Palette. And let's get in there. Pretty pigmented color. And let's apply it. It looks kind of similar, but this one to me looks a little bit more muted, a little bit more gray in tone. This one to me looks warmer, a little bit peachier versus this one. So already I am noticing a slight difference in color. But as far as the application, I feel like it's the same. They're both really pigmented. They blended really nice. Look at that. That one is like more camel colored, more yellow in tone. And the original Star Palette is cooler in tone and it looks more gray. You guys can see it looks more neutral. So I'm gonna take that same brush and dip into the color Earth. So this is the brush for the mini palette. I'm gonna take this color right on the outer corner and blend it upwards. I'm just packing that on the lid and then gradually bringing it up to the crease and blending that color over. I'm just going to pack this on until it's completely opaque on the outer corner. Very creamy, smooth, and pigmented. I love how rich it looks. And I'm taking my other Tom Ford brush and dipping into Earth from the original palette. And again, let's pack this on the outer corner on this side and see if these colors are the same. Going on very pigmented and smooth, just like how I remember. This one just might be a touch cooler in tone. It's so subtle that I don't think that most people would be able to tell, but I can slightly see it. I can especially see the difference looking at the transition color next to this color. This one is just overall cooler in tone. You can totally see how much warmer this eye look is versus this eye look. This one is definitely more grayish in tone. And I have two 242 brushes. I'm gonna dip into the color Orion and I'm gonna apply that dry on the lid. So in that space that we left open, I'm just gonna pack this color on. And it's going on pretty like dry like. It's building up if I swipe it. It doesn't have any fallout. It's pressed kind of hard in the pan too. I'm gonna pack on a little bit more. So it definitely has pigmentation, but it's not just like one swipe and bam, full opacity. You have to build it up there. Same shade, new brush from the original. I'm just gonna pack it on like I did the other one. Overall, I think the colors resemble one another, but I definitely think this one is greener. This one is a little bit darker and this one is just brighter. I feel like you can see it on my eyes. This one is definitely greener and brighter and this one is deeper. So I'm gonna take my pencil brush and go in with the color Cosmo. And I'm just gonna pop this right on the inner corner. Okay, this is building up really slowly. It's workable. It's not a dud by any means, but it's not just like popping. So I'm gonna take this Cosmo, which looks like a totally different shade altogether than the one in the mini palette. Clearly more sparkly. And I'm gonna pop that. Wow. Wow. I'm popping that on the inner corner. This is like two totally different colors. You all can clearly see the difference in these shades. Let's go ahead and finish off the look. I'm gonna go back in with Cosmo. Wrap it around the lower part of the eyelid. And same thing with the other Cosmo. And same brush, and I'm gonna go back in with Atik. Sweep that along here. Atik here. Sweep it along. So here is the final look. So final thoughts. This palette is absolutely not the same as the original palette. None of the colors are the same. Everything is a slight variation of the original Star palette. The original Star palette is bolder. The mattes are a little bit cooler in the original Star palette than in this palette. They are definitely more warm in tone. The shimmers in the mini palette are not as shimmery as the shimmers in this palette. These have more so of a reflective quality to them. The pearl shines a little bit brighter. These seem like they took out a lot of the glitter that was in these. And the shimmers in this palette are not as pigmented or as finely milled as the original Star palette. So if you want to get this palette, it's good for $25, but it's a $25 palette in every sense of the way. You can definitely tell that this one is higher quality. The mini palette is lacking a lot of the characteristics that made people fall in love with the OG Star palette. But if you're just wanting to get something to have these type of colors in your collection, it's not a bad palette. And if you're a person trying Natasha Denona products for the first time, trying the mini palette is not going to give you an accurate representation of what the hype is about. You're not going to ever get it if you try the mini palette. But going from this palette to this palette is equivalent from going to Chanel to Coach. Nothing is wrong with Coach, but if you're looking at the craftsmanship, you're looking at the materials used, one of them is superior to the other, and that's just undeniable. Same here with these palettes. Hopefully she fixes that. I don't want to see this happen again from her because I know the quality that she can produce, and I want to see that from her consistently. So let me know what you guys think about Natasha Denona products in general. I know that it is a high-end, expensive brand, but in my opinion, if you want to try her palettes and you want to try her eyeshadows, I would go with the full-size palettes because you're going to get the most bang for your buck in terms of value as well as in quality. So if you have not already, please make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe. And I will talk to you all in my very next video. Smooches. Bye.